Hey everybody, today we are joined by a clinical animal behaviourist called Lisa. Hi Lisa.
Hey Joe, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you, my love?
I'm good.
Incredible. Actually no. I'm going to get you to do a little introduction to yourself so that everyone can find out a little bit more about you, and then we'll get into the thick of it.
Sure. So I'm Lisa. I'm a clinical animal behaviourist. So I studied animal behaviour at the University of Edinburgh Vet School. I specialise in working with companion animals, so dogs and cats. I specialise in reactivity and aggression. Before I started in behaviour, I had a pet care business, and we worked solely with reactive dogs that needed solo walks and preferred kind of being on their own rather than in a group environment with other dogs. When I'm not working, I like going to the theatre, spending time with my other half, sometimes go to improv, that's good fun. So really delighted to be here today. I know you guys do lots of great things for the space, so thanks for having me.
I appreciate that, and I feel like I want to delve into this improv at a later date. It's just quite a fascinating thing, though,
Sounds
isn't it?
intriguing, yeah.
Yeah, cool. How did you find? So, did you do your degree, or was it the full masters at Edinburgh?
I did postgraduate diploma, so I might go back at some point to do the full masters, but not at the moment.
It's on my potential to do list at some point, even though I don't know why, but I just kind of want it in a way as well.
I'd recommend it. It was really good, and obviously I could still work while I was doing it because it's remote. And then I shadowed behaviourists in my area, so Antonella in London and Laura in Aylesbury. So that was nice that I could still have my business rather than having to commute. So yeah, highly recommend it. If you want to know anything about it, just shout.
Down for it. Vicky's looking at me like I've lost the plot.
Yes, I have. I know what happened last time.
I've just finished the degree. I don't know. It's like a weird little itch that I need to get back into academic world.
You're determined to have no life ever, aren't you?
I don't do well with silence and nothing.
No.
She
can't deal with like empty pockets of time with nothing to do that's not purposeful.
What did you study?
I did animal behaviour through Oxford Brookes, but it was full time in person. Earl at a sister site in Solihull. So 3 years. Finished it. Was it this year?
Yes, May.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Oh my God,
year.
that feels like forever ago.
No, it doesn't feel like that long ago for me.
Oh wow, yeah, May this year. Finished that.
The experience was painful. But anyway.
My great auntie lives in Selly Oak, so I know Birmingham a bit.
There we go. Oh, there we go then. I like it.
Connection.
Wow. You actually wanted to go into the human side of running a dog business today, didn't you? So what's your experience been then of how clients, I don't know, almost like receive dog training and behaviour?
Yeah, I think when I first started, I'd love a long report with lots of references and all the different things that a client could do. But I think over time, realising that that's quite overwhelming for a lot of people. Kind of, if we think about changing any habit, it can take time to do it. And kind of starting off with something, the biggest priority, and then gradually snowballing and doing other things from there is the way to go. Because I think otherwise, I guess it's a bit like running a business. You can do lots of things all at once, but then not do one thing really, really well. So I think breaking things down for clients and also letting clients own change, using motivational interviewing techniques to see how they're perceiving what we're asking them to do, and not, saying, right, we must do this, because, I guess it's like anything. If change is motivated by discomfort, it doesn't stick. Whereas change can be kind of fostered in a way by empathy and understanding and seeing things from different people's perspectives. So I think scrapping like really, really long drawn out reports and focusing on main techniques.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point, isn't it? The report, the good old report writing thing.
Yeah.
In my experience of working with dog owners that have had a behaviourist come before me and they've written a report and they've got completely lost and overwhelmed with it, that's where they then don't do the training in my experience. And I feel like this is a fundamental flaw in the way a lot of behaviourists work, because they understand it, they see it, they can see the end result, but the clients are just completely lost along the way.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. Yeah. So what made you realise that then? What was there like a light bulb moment one day where you were like, I think this is the reason, I think this is causing a lot of problems? Or
I think talking to clients, like working as a kind of solo dog walker and then saying to clients like, this is what's happening with your dog, and then being really busy and me knowing that they've got so much on their plate already with children, their business, their spouse, older family members. There's lots of different things. Of course, absolutely, they love their dog, but expecting them to do kind of 5 or 6 different things on a list, they might pay to see a behaviourist, but they are unlikely to actually do what we're suggesting that they do. So I was like, I love animals and I want to learn everything I can about animals, but to actually help animals, I need to understand people, because I can't help an animal unless the person changes. Otherwise, I can't think of any job where you're working with animals that people aren't involved in some way, whether that be an animal that's currently in a rescue centre. Obviously, they're going to hopefully be rehomed. Or, if you think about wild animals that are being poached, again, you're directly working potentially with people that are poaching those animals. So it's that human behaviour change. So I went to a conference and listened to Suzanne Rogers speak, and then got up really, really early at like 5 a.m. and travelled to Liverpool because she was doing a conference. I think it was the next week. And it was the best thing ever. Her and Joe did things about problem trees, like getting to the root cause of the situation. Like, why is someone creating their dog for that period of time? Why is that dog reacting that way? Why isn't the human changing their behaviour? Why is it not wearing a muzzle? The root cause of the behaviour. And it was just brilliant. And I just thought, oh, this is so good. I need to think about this. So now when I do my reports, at the start, I tend to use the colour purple. I don't know why, I just like it. But kind of 3 main things. So if they are feeling overwhelmed and they haven't got time to read the report, it's those 3 main things. And I think a lot of good books do that as well. At the end, they have like a box with like the main takeaways, because sometimes people don't have time to read lots of things all at once.
Yeah, I think it's such what you said earlier as well about considering people's lives. I just think we don't do enough of that in this industry at all. We are so quick to judge and so quick to defend the dog. And yes, we're all in it for the dogs. Yes, we do it for that passion and around it. But you cannot, like you say, you cannot work with the dog without working with the owner, and you have to get them on board to be able to make changes for that dog. And if we are just literally bypassing that and not just getting frustrated and just getting angry at them and just going like, oh my God, these people are just really annoying, they don't do it, how is that going to help the dog in the end?
Yeah. It's I'm trying to think where the thought process comes from in terms of our industry in this behaviour role that we've got. Like, is it through the education system, whether that's CPD providers or the universities or what have you? Where do these training plans, or rather the depth of these training plans, where have they come from to think that we are then giving all of that information to someone, because if I think about it, like, you know, if I put myself back in my university shoes, where I am really trying to, like, I'm there because I want to be there. I am that geek. I am that person that will consume and consume and consume, and I love it. And then somehow we think that needs to translate into a written storybook, essentially, to give to a client. And I just think it's too much. And I think sometimes a good majority of clients are walking away feeling incredibly overwhelmed by the volume of information that we as the professionals are giving them.
Yeah. And I think back of like things that like people that I've worked with, like they might have given me extra handouts and things. Like I worked with a nutritionist recently and she gave me extra handouts and I didn't read it all at once, but like after a while, I'm like, oh, I'll have a little read of that. So, you know, you can have that there, but I think getting those main points across is really key rather than go, here's a 15-page report, like do your homework. Like I don't know anyone that really learns like that or has time to learn like that.
Yeah, and even yeah, it is. It's having it all in one go, isn't it? And that overwhelm around that. And even if you drip fed the information out, like this is something that we are keen to, when we're working with our clients, is to help them understand that giving them just tons of information in one go is just going to have the opposite effect. It's got it all out of your brain and you've done your job okay. And I think that's what it is. It's like I've given them everything that I've got. I've given them all the knowledge, but then it's being received like this, whoa, like I do not know how to even start compartmentalizing that information and prioritizing it. And like you say, having main points to start with, like there's your starting point, and then we'll come on to this bit next and come on to this bit next. That just absolutely simplifies things, doesn't it? And makes it achievable for people.
Absolutely. Like in the same way that hopefully we train a dog, like shaping them, you know, hand targeting, you know, the marker word, building that up, and then gradually doing everything in steps, not just expecting them to, I don't know, come when you call them, when you've just let them off for the first time after doing a few reps at home, like really breaking it down.
Yeah. And I think we don't look at it enough in that dog training like kind of with that hat on, do we? We know it because we do it for dogs, but we don't translate that to human beings.
No. And it's so weird, isn't it? Because as you guys were just talking, I am thinking like we know this as professionals. We know that it's going to take time to even teach a recall, for example. And you know, you can do the shaping, you can do all these various different ways to get the dog on how to do it. And we know we're just focusing on that one thing. And we know that that's going to take time. Yet, I don't know why my brain kind of went here. We then start thinking as the professional that if somebody is inquiring for, say, recall, you would sell them one session because you can teach recall in one session.
Yeah.
But it's the application.
Yeah.
And it's the follow through and it's the support that an owner, a human being, would need to understand, because they are not the geek that we all are, because we love it. We love the nitty gritty stuff of it. We're like, oh, why did the dog do that there and then they didn't do it there? Oh, what's different? Was it the texture of the grass? Did it suddenly go from grass to pavement? And now that's what's kind of fucked it all up. It's just like, and the owner's like, I have no idea what you're doing.
I don't really care what you're on about.
Your brain's clearly just going like pick all these different things.
But I think again, that one session sort of like thought process is like, I've brain dumped all the information over to you. I've done my part. Now it's up to you to do the rest. And again, without that thought process around how much practice that takes and how much repetition and how much muscle memory and creating a new habit and all of those things, there just doesn't seem to be that connect, does it? It's like job done, just like, you know, wash my hands of those people now, almost. But then in the same vein, I'm saying that, and in the same vein, we're like, well, they didn't book another session with us. They didn't come back to me. And it's like, well, you've given them absolutely everything. You've probably scared them away. I know I've done that in the past with people, thinking it was the right approach.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one. How do you How do you do that in the best possible way then, would you say? How do we start to, obviously you mentioned about giving people these kind of tasks, but what else would you say is going to help reduce that overwhelm for people?
I think people owning change. So Susan J talked about kind of willingness scales. So like if you've got a willingness ruler and the ruler's like 1 to 5, 1, how willing is the client on a scale to do this? So are they at a 5, great, I'm really willing to do this technique that you want me to do? Or is it a 2? Like, why, you know, ask them, why is it a 2 and not a 5? What is it about, you know, what you've suggested that's not going to work for them? Is it that they can't, I don't know, afford a freedom field to practice in? Is it that their dog's got pancreatitis and they need to be really careful about what training treats that they're using? What is it? Because I think that's another thing. I know I have been guilty of the past in assuming things, and we don't actually know. We don't know what's going on in people's lives or what their thoughts are or what they've heard on the telly or the person in the park said or they've read before or their dog before did. So I'd say that, and the kind of confidence ruler, how confident are they in doing this? Not kind of just sitting around in a consultation, actually like getting up and showing them and involving people, not saying, right, this is what you need to do, like, you know, practicing and letting people do as well. And then readiness, kind of how ready are you to do this? Is there anything that's going to get in your way? Have you got a big holiday coming up, or is it Christmas? Are you really busy? Is there just one thing that you could be doing? I think, yeah.
I love all those. I love the scales. They're good.
Scales are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
So when would you, and how would you go through that then? So is that in a face-to-face session, or I say face-to-face, it could be face to Zoom, but you know what I mean? Is that in conversation, presumably? And is that earlier on in the program?
Yeah, I have like an initial call with everyone that I work with to see whether my methods are something that they want to use and what's involved. And then everyone fills out an initial questionnaire. It's just a short one for kind of training, kind of what are your goals? What are the things you want to work on? And what's the biggest priority? What's going to help you and your dog the most? Because, you know, I remember going to physio and being like, oh, my shoulder hurts and my knee hurts and my leg hurts. And he's like, what if I had a magic wand, what one thing would you want to work on first? So thinking about that and asking the client that as well, so they've got it. And then we scale where they are feeling at that current time about their dog's behavior. So recall, I don't know, 1 out of 5, like they've got 0 recall. And then after the second or third session, we scale it again to see where they're at. Has it changed? Has it gone up, or has it gone down, or has it stayed the same? So that can be quite motivating in itself, because you see, oh, it's changed, or oh, it hasn't changed. What do we need to do differently, rather than just, you know, cracking on. And then in the initial session, if it's training, focus on different aspects. Sleep, are they getting enough sleep? Is there's kind of holistic things that are happening that might be contributing to the behavior. So are they getting enough sleep? If they're barking out of the window, is something bothering them? What's going on? And how much exercise are they getting? And what they're doing day-to-day enrichment. And then just hands-on training, I think, really helps. But obviously you need to figure out the motivation and emotion behind the behavior as well. Like recall is a good example, because a dog might not be coming back to you when called because they just got poor recall and they're just distracted, or have they got poor recall and they're running home because they're scared of something. You know, you need to also get into that emotion. Is there something else going on?
Yeah. there's so much for people to consider when they're working with a dog professional, isn't it? Because even all those examples there, we're like, yep, our brain's thinking it could be this. And from the client's perspective, they're just going, I just want the dog to come when I called.
Yeah. I think picking out something you mentioned within that was about the trainer or the behaviourist just carrying on regardless, like going, this is the agenda, this is what I'm here to teach you how to do and to change this behaviour, and I'm going to just go through it anyway, carry on through it. And we're not stopping enough to consider the client's needs at that point. How do they feel about it? How confident are they? All those scales that you mentioned.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of this and just gone, but I'm here, like the expectation is I'm here to fix this problem. So if I stop too often and we have these like pauses in momentum, that's going to affect the result. That's going to affect the outcome. But actually, by just me ploughing on anyway, regardless, that's more affecting the outcome. That's making it less likely to happen because I'm losing people. And
Absolutely.
I'm just assuming they're at the knowledge point I'm at, and they're nowhere near that yet.
Yeah. What's obvious to us isn't always obvious to everyone else. And why would it be? You know, I've got clients that are heart surgeons. I don't know anything about that. So, you know, it's thinking about that person. But I think, yeah, regular check-ins, just like a WhatsApp message, like monitoring how they want to monitor it. Do they want to write a diary? Like some people don't. Do they want to write have a traffic light system in their phone? So Debbie Ainslow talked to me about this. So, you know, good walk red, okay walk amber, great walk green. So it's something really simple and accessible for time-starved people. And then that can help you celebrate the successes as well, because sometimes it's hard to see the wins. Like our brain clings to all the bad stuff.
Oh, it does that really well, doesn't it? And it's having those metrics there to go like, yeah, we have progressed. Like there is a difference here. Might not be what we originally thought we would get to, but we're okay. If you feel good about it, that's something that I know I had this conversation with Joe when we were still training and going like, but I haven't got the result that I wanted them to have. And I remember you saying to me, but they've got a result they're happy with, so that's okay. And I'm like, is it okay? Yes, of course it's okay, because it's about the client. It's about what they need and what they want. And if they're happy that they've got like so far along, but that isn't quite what my expectation was, that's okay. Like we're leaving them happy, you know? And that's been a tough pill. That was a tough pill for me to swallow for many years, actually, when I was dog training.
Yeah, we do put a lot of pressure on ourselves, I think, to really ensure. But I think everybody does, doesn't it? Like when you genuinely love what you do, you really want people to succeed. I think we're just as guilty as carrying that cross into K9 Business Academy. Everyone who comes through our doors, we're like, oh gosh, like we want to give you everything, like have my soul, just take it because I want to see you succeed. I want you to do all of that stuff because like I said, when you love it, you do want people to do that. But again, I love this topic of conversation because it's actually all the human stuff. And I think we get so wrapped up in the dog stuff again, because we love it. So from your perspective then, why do you think that clients say they're going to do the work, they've paid for the professional to come in, and then they don't do it? And then we as professionals say, oh, the client's not doing the homework.
Yeah, I think probably a few things. They haven't owned the change. They haven't had ownership. They haven't agreed to do it. We haven't asked them enough about how they feel, whether they feel ready, if they have any questions about it, whether they even want to do it. I think that is one thing. I think the accessibility of the training plan as well. If you get, a 10-page report, can feel a bit overwhelming, a bit much. the lingo as well, how we communicate with clients.
Oh, the lingo. Yeah, this is a biggie.
We're talking about, desensitization and counter conditioning and shaping. What does, I love analogies. I don't know if I stole this, but I always say, with recall, if you constantly call your dog and they don't come back to you, if you keep on calling them and keep on calling them, they'll just learn to ignore you. Or if you keep on calling them and you just stick their lead back on and end the fun, they'll stop answering eventually. And the same thing is with people. Like if someone was calling you when you're out with your friends, like your partner's constantly ringing you and telling you to come home or end the fun, you'd stop answering. And it's the same thing with dogs. If we just do it all the time, we call them back, give them a treat, let them go back again, like change that association. So I'd say, how we communicate the words. I remember saying resource guarding to someone once, and she was not happy with me. Like she looked really angry. She was like, what does that mean? And I think you have to remember how we're communicating, the words we're using.
Yeah, and I think that comes into a lot about how we sell our services as well. Because I remember selling or trying to sell a fun activity type course that involved a bit of foundation agility, a bit of hoopers, a bit of scent work, and using all these jargony words like proprioception and, like scent work related, like words that totally over somebody's head. Like, no wonder it didn't sell very well. I'm amazed I sold any spots for that course.
I remember I loved when I first heard proprioception. I was like, I'm going to shoehorn this in everywhere. That and the olfactory system. Those are my two favourite things to talk about. And I was like, oh yes, proprioception and the olfactory. I'm like, check me out. Like, you just look like a right twat. But no, I love the using analogies, and I love the I think sometimes we think collectively, and I'm sure other science-based industries do as well. I think we think by dumbing it down, or rather that the theory is you're dumbing it down. It's like, no, I'm not dumbing it down. I'm making it more accessible for you to, I love that little look then. It's like, yes, because that's all we're trying to do. It's like we just want to make it accessible so that someone is going to succeed ultimately. Like they're ringing you, so that they already want to do what's best for the dog, and then it's our job to facilitate helping that. And I think sometimes we're easily frustrated by our clients.
Yeah. We don't know what's on their dashboard. Like we don't know what else they've got going on, and you're not going to know unless you kind of ask someone, like, does this work for you?
Yeah. I think it's, again, it's putting yourself in the position of somebody, like, sorry, if you were interested in a new hobby or a new activity or a new sport or anything like that, if you were hearing things about it that was so over your head and the words just didn't make any sense and it felt really complicated, and you just went, I don't know if that is for me. Like, that's how you'd feel. Like, you'd feel like it's maybe not for you, and you probably wouldn't even try it. That's exactly what dog owners are feeling when they are consuming information from a lot of dog trainers or behaviourists that are using all these fancy jargony words that just are lost, they're completely lost. So it's our responsibility to meet people where they are and then bring them up to our knowledge, where our knowledge is, and bridge that gap, because they are not going to do that immediately. And if you carry on as you are with those kind of words, they're not going to get on board at all.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll like look at the news, like read something on the news, and I'm like, I don't get that. So I go to News Round and like look at the kids one, and I'm like,
News Round? Is that still on?
Is it News Round?
Is it still on?
It's online.
Is John Craven still on it?
Lisa. But, and I remember doing karate once, and my previous karate teacher was like, oh, bring your hand up and then move it in a perpendicular way. He didn't say exactly this, but
yeah, but that I'd go, what's that mean?
And then I went to another one, and there was kids in the class. It was adults and kids, and he was like, "You're a pirate, and grab that parrot off your shoulder and bring him round to your friend." And I was like, "Yes," and it just sticks in your mind. Like, there's nothing wrong with, tailoring things for people. Like, some clients might love, peer-reviewed journals and really appreciate, reading that stuff. But some people just want, basic kind of bread and butter stuff because they haven't, they just want it simplified. And I like it simplified.
Everyone likes it simple, don't they?
Oh, good.
Yeah. Everyone knows where they are.
The main things I need to do without all the. I mean, I like understanding things, but when I've got time to understand them, but not all weaved into one thing. I think breaking it down, like if you like writing a long report, that's fine, but do break down the main points really clearly and really succinctly.
Yeah. I think you mentioned this earlier, but I think it's asking people and understanding, like, how do you want to receive the information?
Yeah.
Because again, like, even if you enjoy writing the report, in my opinion, if you are choosing to spend, like, let's face it, like several hours it used to take me to do some reports.
Yeah.
But if they're never going to be read, then I would question that. Is that the best use of my time when I could be using that to actually help more people, help even that specific client, and give them the information in a way that's going to be more easily accessible? So I ended up, and I'm sure a lot of people do this now, but I ended up with a bank of PDF. I use the term guide very loosely because it was just a step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3, like how to do the exercise. And I was like, right, I'm just going to whiz you that. So I ended up building a catalogue of those over time. I then had some video examples as well, so step by step. I had, what else did I do? I did like a voice note one. So I tried to do the different learning styles that if you preferred to watch, read, listen, you've got an opportunity to do that. But having that conversation up front first and going, what's going to be best for you? Like, is WhatsApp communication going to work well for you? Do you prefer email? Do you prefer no communication at all and we just leave it until the sessions?
Yeah.
But just keeping it, very, very client focused. I want to pick up on something you mentioned as well about that client you said where you mentioned the dog was resource guarding and she took offense to it. Coming back to people's own subjectiveness, I suppose, of what certain words mean. So, I mean, I hate it when the woods that I send my kids to, Clay sometimes gets called fizzy behaviour.
It sounds like you just dumped them in the middle of the woods when you said that then. It's an actual care facility.
A care facility.
Well, they're caring for your kids, aren't they?
The Peter Pan woods. But when they refer to his behaviour as always been a bit fizzy today, it grates on me so much. And I'm like, what does fizzy mean? Are you... But like my body reaction almost feels quite defensive. Going like, how dare you say that my child has been fizzy? And I can see how people would potentially, have the same effect if we told them, like in your example, like the dog was resource guarding, and they've gone like, I don't want to admit that my dog's a resource guarder because that means it's bad. That means I failed. And all that shame and guilt is how that person's feeling. Because that's exactly how I feel when the woods tell me that Clay's been fizzy today. I'm like, oh God, shame, guilt, I'm shit, I failed him because he's acting up and all of that. And I don't know your opinion on this. It'd be interesting to hear it. How well equipped we are as general dog professionals to cope with this human half of this part of the role.
Yeah, I think labels can be tricky. People can cling to labels, like I know some clients will say my dog's stubborn, or my dog's dominant, or my dog's naughty, and kind of like Susan Friedman always talks about like unlabeling, like what is the behavior that you're seeing, like how can you really break that down, like what's the ABCs, like who's around, what's the behavior you can see, or they're jumping up, what's the consequence, or they get attention. So I think really breaking it down. But you're right, if people are made to feel defensive, it just puts your back up. Like, you might hire someone, they might know, you think they know everything and they've got all degrees coming out their ears and they've got amazing reviews, but if they make you feel rubbish or defensive, like you won't listen. Well, I don't listen well to people that make me feel like crap.
Yeah. No one wants to feel inadequate, do they?
No. And it's hard, isn't it? Because I genuinely don't think anyone would ever go in with the intention of making someone feel like crap.
No. I think words matter. Yeah.
It's that skill set. It's
but
we're not aware of it enough.
Let's go back to the report thing again, I think, with this, because you could get somebody feeling like inadequate reading a report like that, couldn't you? With all that fancy words and how long it is and how much, like, just how packed full of information it is. They could just go like, I don't think I'm good enough to do this. I think that they are coming in and expecting me to be super whiz dog trainer and do the things they can do and I can't do it. So that could actually get somebody's back up. It's look at it from that perspective. I think it's an interesting topic, isn't it, this?
Yeah. So many different
little angles,
rabbit holes we could go down.
Yeah. I think, and again with the report, you go like, why is the person writing a big report really? We were talking about like the root of the problem, like why is the client not doing the work? It's like, why do they feel they need to do it? Is it pressure from other behaviourists that do it? Is it they're justifying their knowledge? Is it they're justifying the cost? Like there's all these things, like really, if you ask them, they'd probably go, I hate doing it. It takes loads of time. I'd rather not. And it's like, well, why are we doing it then?
I think it's a skill, like to break things down and do things, in more concisely, which took me a while. The kind of initiating factors, predisposing factors and maintenance factors can help like people look at why their dog might do something. Is it their breed tendency? Is it, genetics? Is it something triggering the behavior? And that can help people really break it down. But even those words, I think predisposing, initiating, maintenance, I don't think they're very client friendly. They're science friendly, like if you're writing a report, but they're not actually client friendly.
And does the client care? At the end of the day, like you could almost like, it'd be great, wouldn't it, to have the main points there and go like, I've included this background information for you. I'm aware that it's probably a lot of stuff that you may not want to know, but if you do, it's here. Like it's almost like framing it in that way, isn't it? And going like, I'm not taking it away from you because it's there and this is the reason why it's a contributing factor to why your dog is displaying this behaviour. But I want you to know that if you don't get it, it's okay. Almost like having that kind of caveat around it, might be a good thing.
I think it can be helpful, like for people to think, right, when this behavior happens, it's in this situation around this people and we're too close. I think that can be helpful to look at where it's happening. So you can either work on that from threshold or avoid it if you need to, or put management techniques in place to keep everyone safe. But I think, having actionable steps to actually take rather than, this is how dogs feel, how dogs learn. Like you said, Joe, asking people what they like. Is it a short video? Is it, a podcast? Is it something else that they prefer listening to, and tailoring it that way, like an audio file rather than lots and lots of text? Because a lot of people don't, well, from my feedback, they don't like that.
Yeah, it's a common theme, isn't it? The lots of tech, even for the geeky folk like us in the room. I love it, but also if it's presented to me, if I've genuinely got a problem, I'm less inclined to want to read stuff like that. But if I'm motivated because it's coming from a place of, I want to geek out, I find something interesting, I'll sit there for hours and rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? If the problem is there, is presenting, you just want to see the solution, don't you? You want to see the steps I need to take to start to get that solution. You don't necessarily want all the reams of stuff around it, do you? At that stage, like it might be later on that they start going, oh, I'm really interested by this. Can you give me a bit more context? Yeah, absolutely. Don't ask me twice. But you know, it's that, isn't it? So maybe that's another way of doing it and going like, we'll start with the simplicity bit, and then if you want a bit more, and the more you get on board with this, here's a bit more stuff.
Yeah. And the follow-up as well and the support, that's really key. Rather than, I don't know, be a month and you haven't checked in with someone. And
yeah, this is the other thing, isn't it? Like being left to it. It's so common, isn't it? To go, here's the big report, here's the 3 hours I've spent with you. Go away and do that for a month or 2 or 3. Okay.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? So whilst we're on this kind of topic of like language and making things accessible and trying not to intentionally make people feel like shit, what do you think trainers, behaviourists might say to a client that would shut them down completely?
You're doing it all wrong. This is what you have to do. You know, this kind of my way or the highway. Because people, you know, knowing you should do something and doing it are very different things. Like, I know I shouldn't eat so much chocolate, but do I? Yes. Do I know all the reasons why I shouldn't? Yes. Do I do it anyway? Yes. So, you know, just knowing you should do something isn't enough.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's like that stick or carrot. You know, are you rewarding them for the little things that they're doing? Are you reinforcing the good stuff that they're going to do, that they're willing to try, or that they have done already? But I think this kind of, you have to do this without involving them and without giving them any reason why they have to do it as well. And assuming that they know why.
Yeah, it is that, isn't it? And sometimes this is where information is missing that they actually vitally need to kind of get on board with it. Like if we're just saying to people, go and do that 20 times a day. Okay, why are we doing this? And again, you might find that motivation isn't there if they don't understand the context around it. So it's a really tricky thing, isn't it?
Honestly.
Getting the balance right between the information that you give, knowing when it's too much, knowing when there needs to be a little bit more, and knowing how to actually communicate that information across. It's a minefield. Being a dog trainer is really hard.
Listening to this conversation, even my brain's going like, why would anybody do this job?
Yeah. Or you're like, you did what? Like I get told that my face is very transparent. So I don't have much of a poker face and people can read what I'm saying. But yeah, saying something like, you did what? Like that, and like it's done. Like, you know, why have they done that? What's that?
Can't change it now.
Yeah. You know, why? Why have they done it? You know, figure out what's the reason behind it. If we can't do that, can we do something else? If we can't walk them, you know, on the lead to keep them safe, can we hire a freedom field? Can we do something else? Is there something that they'd be more willing to do? And obviously talking about the repercussions of not doing what you're suggesting, because some people won't know that. But yeah, people need to own what they're doing.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, isn't it? The repercussions bit and going, yeah, it's all well and good. I have to go and hire a secure field. Like, that's going to cost me. That's going to take time. That's going to not be convenient. But then it's going, because if you don't do that, this is going to put the training back, or this is going to halt progress, or whatever it is. That's an important thing to let them know as well, isn't it? Because if that information is missing, then they're like, well, what am I doing that for?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think it's looping them in on the decisions as well, isn't it? So like, even though we can give them the reasons why you should be taking them to these. I've never heard it called a freedom field.
Freedom, I thought this. That's a good name for one. Yeah.
Freedom field.
Freedom.
But yeah, like we could give them the reasons why they should, air quote, be doing this thing, and the repercussions that if they don't. But almost like asking that extra layer and going like, well, how feasible is that for you? How does that make you feel by being able to do that? That's my recommendation. However, if we're not going to do it, then I either need to take it off the table completely and I need to come up with another solution, because essentially that's what you're hiring me for. I'm here to troubleshoot with you. And I think sometimes, again, we get so unintentionally, and again, I cannot stress enough that I genuinely believe all of this is so unintentional just because we love what we do.
Oh, it's unintentional completely because we've both done it.
Yeah. And like you genuinely just want to, but I want to be able to get that dog out and about because I can see the potential in that dog. That dog could be totally fine walking down the street if you just did these things. But again, it's taking yourself, and it is taking yourself out of that situation and having the conversation with the clients. And I genuinely believe this is the step that a lot of us as dog pros are not doing.
And kind of, recapping after a session, like before a session as well, like how have things been going, what's worked well, what hasn't worked so well, so you're getting an idea of where that client's currently at. Because some clients will just say, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll do that, but then they don't. But I guess asking open-ended questions. There's some really good videos on YouTube about motivational interviewing, about how to, get clients to open up and own things. So I'd recommend that if people aren't familiar with that. There's some good stuff on there.
Yeah, getting the right questions. Yeah, making sure that you are asking the right questions is key, really, isn't it? To get in. Ask a bad question, get a bad answer.
Yeah, and listening and summarizing as well, feeding back what you've heard, like be a good listener. Because sometimes I think we go in, like you said, like blinkered, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do. And then it takes away from other aspects that could be contributing to the dog's behavior or the lack of change on the human part. Is there something going on?
Yeah.
It's all very complex, isn't it?
Very. It's only when you start having these conversations you realise how complex and how layered.
Yeah.
And how multi-skilled we really are in this industry.
Yeah. And I do think we're not spending enough time as dog professionals learning the human side of it.
No.
I think it's just as important, if not more.
I wished I'd spent more time. If I'd have known what I know now about human behaviour and human personalities and traits and things like that, I could have been a much better trainer. Like, I think I was okay, but I could have been way better.
Yeah.
What else have you found during your journey into being a clinical animal behaviourist? I feel like it needs extra emphasis because it's impressive to get that status. I couldn't be bothered to jump through all the hoops, to be perfectly honest. I was like, I'll do the level qualification, and now I just cannot be bothered. But yeah, what have you found then from your experience as a cab could be the most helpful, other than everything we've already discussed, because it's all gold, that trainers and behaviourists could be doing better, more, starting, whatever it may be, with regards to the human aspect?
I think, human skills, like we talked about, so the motivational interviewing, the reflecting back, the active listening is sometimes people won't say things directly. They won't say, oh, you know, I'm actually also getting divorced. You know, there's other things going on. And tailoring things for that individual client. Like, have you got an older client? Have they got, you know, a bad back? Have they got a dash end and you're asking them to do a touch? You know, thinking about that. Have you got a busy, you know, busy mum, a busy dad? How can you make things accessible and simple for them? Training, like, can you do training while you're waiting for something else to happen, like waiting for the kettle to boil? Can you do some training then? How can they set themselves up for success as well? They got a training pouch. Oh, you're recommending a lead. I mean, when I first started, I remember getting a long lead from Amazon, and it was the winter and all the leaves and it got all tangled and soggy. You know, what equipment are we recommending as well? How is this human? Liver paste all over people's pockets. Like, they're gonna hate you for that. You know, it's thinking about that poor client.
Yeah.
I love your face.
You've got to watch this on YouTube. If you're just listening to this, you've got to watch it on YouTube.
We do have liver face, like the liver face, and then it goes everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Or even actually, I've had it with clients where I've rocked up and I've taken like little bits of chicken or ham or cheese, and the person's turned around to me and gone like, I'm a vegetarian or I'm a vegan, and I am refusing to even touch it, and I won't even let my dog have that stuff. And then I'm like, oh, okay then. What can we use instead? And I kid you not, I've walked around streets before with a bag of frozen bird's eye petit pois.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
That is what the client gave me. And I'm like, okay.
But how easy would it be to go like, oh my God, you want to train this dog? You want the best for it, and you won't even use like the treats that you should be using. Like, it's easy to fall into that, isn't it? And go like, you know, no wonder you're not getting the results. No wonder you're not committed and all this stuff. And it's just like, that's their choice. That's their decision to do it. Let's see if we can find an alternative. But there might be this caveat around, we may, depending on how motivated they are by peas, might not quite get the same.
Yeah. But again, even that's a hard conversation to have, isn't it? Because you can come across as unintentionally a bit derogatory again. And I've definitely, I'll put my hands up, I've definitely been that knob that has gone, and I've said it like in passing, like, oh, okay then, well, you know, dogs do quite like to eat meat. So I think, you know, if you can, it'd be nice to include. And the intention has been so genuine. But my God, even when I hear it back now, I'm like, oh, that's cringeworthy. Why even say something like that?
Yeah.
And like, roll with the resistance. Like, I can always think, you know, I'm sure you can think of times where someone's completely flat out disagreed with you, and like, it's fine to have like a debate, but remember that like, you're working with this person, like, you need to work with them to get those outcomes for the dog and for them.
Yeah, and I think it's that is back to the expectation bit of going like, if you want this to be the result, then if we do this, it might affect that. So it's just being really open and honest with them, saying like, we can do that, absolutely, but it could have an impact on the result. That's all. If you're good with that, great.
Yeah.
What's been your most trickiest situation with a client?
No, I had this client, him and his family, his daughter would always do the training, and then no one else would reinforce it, I guess, because they didn't know what they were doing. And he was like, if I have this number of sessions, will it work? And it was like, oh, no, like, if we're not, it doesn't mean he's going to learn faster. The more sessions that we have, we need to kind of implement what we're actually doing. And he said himself, he was like, you know, you send us these lovely emails and we don't do any of it. And it's, I think, laying the groundwork of like what you can do for them, but what they need to do themselves. It's like working with, you know, a dietitian or a coach. They won't do the work for you. You have to do it yourself. They can set you up for success by, you know, giving you techniques and, you know, thinking, I don't know how much better your life would be if this was changed, kind of like spider diagrams? Yeah, like, so like 5 things that would be better about your life if this had changed. But you have to actually do the work. And is there anything that's going to hinder you from doing the work? Is there anything that you've got coming up? Has a partner got a hospital appointment? You know, is your pet poorly? You know, is there things that might get in the way, and account for them as best you can? Because sometimes when it's like a really big hill, you just feel like you can give up, even though you're paying all that money.
Yeah, we can all have a gym membership and never use it, can't we? And it's like I've just joined the gym and I made sure before I did that the class, because I like classes, the classes were at times I could do and that I would attend, and that it wasn't something that I'd just go, oh, well, they're never at the right time for me, I'll just never go, and then blame the gym. It's like, no, it's on me to go and find that information out beforehand. And the gym were really good at putting that on the website. I could see it all. It was just really clear and obvious. So I was like, yeah, cool, I'm in.
Yeah. We are fickle as human beings, though, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's very easy to blame.
The slightest little thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's always somebody else's fault.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, yeah, going back to communicating with people what you can offer and what they need to commit to as well. What can they commit to? And that might change. It might go up and down. They might commit to 5 things, but then they can't. They can do 1 thing. That's absolutely fine. But you're not training that dog. You're with them for an hour, 3 hours overall, maybe. Need to input.
And I think this also links to hugely the relationship you've got with the person as well.
Oh yeah.
Because if you've built a good relationship from that very first phone call, first session you do in person, and then the subsequent ones, which you can, you know, be with somebody for a decent amount of time, and in our eyes builds that up, then they're going to be more open with you. And if you are asking the right questions and all these things we've discussed in this episode today, then there is more likelihood you'll get the truth, you'll get the real reasons why they're not doing it, and no judgment, you know, as long as we don't judge them on the answers. It's always going to be better, isn't it, if we've got that relationship working really well and the communication working really well.
Yeah, rapport with people, you know, rather than I'm here and we're going to learn, and just being really, I don't know, stuffy. I mean, like, maybe some people learn with really strict kind of domineering people. I don't know. I mean, I don't
think many people learn well like that, do they?
No. It might seemingly work for a moment, but
yeah.
I just did a speed awareness course on Zoom, and my God, it was boring as hell. I learned something, like, don't get me wrong, I did learn something, but the way it was delivered, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this could be done better. Surely we could make this a bit more fun.
It's supposed to be a punishment.
I know that. I do know this, but I'm just like, if you really want people to take the information in and not do it again, then I feel like it should be better kind of done. So police, if you're listening to this, can you make those a bit better? But it's all in that experience, isn't it? Because I've gone away from that going like, yeah, I've learnt something, but it was really dull as dishwater. Whereas I could have come away going, yeah, I learnt something. It was actually a really good course, you know, like it was really well done. And I feel like it's imprinted in my brain, you know, because of the way it was delivered. So
yeah, like how it's delivered. Like if you think about your favorite teacher, like
what
you like about them, like how, he's passed away, bless him, but Dr. Oliver, biology teacher, like he was such a nice man, obviously super clever, taught chemistry, taught biology, but didn't make you feel like a complete idiot, and broke things down for you and explained them in a nice clear, simple way.
I had a physics teacher and a geography teacher just like that. And they were like down with the kids, and they went, and actually when I look back at how they taught, it was very much like trying to get down to our level, like meet us where we were, and then, but without calling us stupid and without coming across like we were stupid.
The patronising.
Yeah. And just kind of, make it a bit hip and a bit trendy. And that's why they will always stick in my mind, because but you look at the rest of the teachers, you got like middle-aged men in these like dull outfits, and they're just, what comes out of their mouth sounds really boring. And then you've got these like other ones that are trying the hardest to get it across in a way whereby it's relatable. And it definitely works. Hip and trendy. It worked.
Have no words.
Why?
Oh dear, I like talking about all of this.
I love it. It's not talked about enough.
No, it's be right, like that relationship stuff. I think you mentioned earlier on one of your examples that you don't know if that person's maybe going through a divorce or whatever it may be, because maybe that person isn't as well. I'm much of a sharer. You've probably all gathered now by listening to this for as long as you have. I haven't got a problem sharing stuff, but there are also a good amount of people out there that'll go, nope, not until I trust you, not until I've spent so many hours with you, not until I've done whatever. And if they aren't willing to tell, I also remember actually, I was working with, I'm only like a 5'2" dot, and then I had a client who was over 6 foot. I can't remember what the dog was now, but it was only a little thing. Like your Daxi really made me think of it. And the way I was taught to teach loose lead walking was you place the food on the floor by your heel, so it reinforces the area rather than just feeding to mouth. And I'm asking this 6 foot odd guy to, yes, your reaction says it all, to bend down and place said piece of food next to his heel, and to watch, it was comical to watch. And fair play to him, like he did it, but I was like, I cannot get you to do that. That is ridiculous. He's just like walking down the street, looked like he was just about to fall over every time. But but fortunately, because of the relationship that I'd built with him, we were able to have a laugh about it. And then I was able to go, yep, do you know what? My bad. This needs to change. We can't do this.
Premier on a wooden spoon instead.
It's still too big.
Oh.
He's that tall, and he's got like a little mini Daxi. Yeah. A walking stick.
Yes. That might work. A litter picker. That's a good idea. You can like open the pincer, give them the food.
Yeah, one of those hungry hippo grabbers.
Yes, see? Not so ridiculous after all.
But like owning that as well, like, oh, I need to change that, not feeling stupid and be like, oh, crap, I've, said something and it's stupid, changing things as you go along, that's fine. But changing it for that client, thinking about them beforehand can be helpful. I think that's where the questionnaire comes in really helpful, rather than going in blind.
How tall are you?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe not that. But, yeah.
We've got a cavapoo and you're 6'5". Okay.
Yeah. Do you know what? I do actually want to pick up on this questionnaire, I think, because I know so many people that love the questionnaire in terms of from the professional side. You're looking at me like, I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
I hate it personally. I cannot think of anything worse. And I realised this quite early on in my dog career. So I chose not to do it. However, that never meant I didn't get the information. I just did it in a way that worked for me, which was better in conversation with someone. And if I needed to take notes, I did it there and then. But I also know for a lot of people, and I think this comes down to, this human part of being a dog professional. Know thyself as much as you know somebody else.
Yeah.
I couldn't continue the thyness because that's all I knew.
You might have had the opportunity to expand on the questions and get a bit more information if you did it in person. I suppose that might be another benefit of it.
It was just my preference. I just never got on board with it. I almost felt stuck, like I'd had this information and I was like, oh, I don't feel like I can ask you anything else now because you've already spent like half an hour filling this thing in and I don't want to have to go over it again. But that was
But then I
Me.
think it's the length of it, because I think you mentioned like a quite short, concise questionnaire, didn't you? So
I think, for some clients, I think, you're right. Some clients will be like, oh, not another question. I remember, I think I signed up for something on Eventbrite and I had to give my name, email, and I don't know if they asked my age and something else. And I was like, oh, I wonder how clients feel now. But I guess for some people, they like writing it down and having it clear in their minds. Again, I guess asking them as well. They don't have to if they don't want to. I know if it's kind of a behavioural aspect, the clinical history, like I need that, because I don't want to be, telling clients to teach their dog to sit and they've got, arthritis in their hips. I think information gathering like that is helpful, but not overkill of questions and then having nothing to talk about when you first start the consultation.
Yeah. Basically, what I'm taking from this is we're weird as human beings. We're all fickle folk. We're all subjective on how we deliver and receive things.
But I think we all want simplicity. I think there's an overarching theme here.
Yeah.
Helpful for all.
Yeah.
This is brilliant. I've really enjoyed this today. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
If people wanted to find out more about you and connect with you, where can they do that?
Yeah, so dogs, my dog business is Scent Paws Training Academy. So I've got a website and Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So you can check it out there. There's some podcasts as well on my free resources page. So feel free to have a little look.
Love it. Well, we'll get all those links put in the show notes so we can drive people there.
And a little reminder again that if you have listened to this, you can watch it on YouTube. Look at Lisa's expressions for some of the answers to the questions.
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please. Gold, pure gold.
Thank you so much.
Seeing the liver paste face.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thanks ever so much, Lisa.
Thank you so much.